senior thought he'd be funny. Now there's fake crows, like they expect.
There are. Yeah, I saw
Fake
that.
crows out there.
I think it's fabulous that people have a sense of humor.
You really, you have to put it up to begin with, is Giles' mom.
Oh, really?
She's the one that, she played a joke
That's
on.
her, Polly?
Yeah, Polly's the one that put it up out there to begin with.
Oh,
Because
geez.
I thought Jim and Jimmy did it to be funny.
Polly did.
Yeah, Polly did it. It was to be a cool joke on Jimmy Lane.
All right.
Okay, it's fine.
Is it? That's good. That's good. All right.
Okay, we're gonna open the meeting. Oops. We're gonna open the meeting of the Finance Committee. Please call to order.
Reedy,
Yes, present.
Conklin, President, and Phillips.
Mr. Phillips is sick.
Okay.
We also have in attendance Mayor Rick Ellis, VA Matthew Nyheiser, Fiscal Officer Brian Bibler, Police Chief Brett Rogers, Debbie Schaffner, council members Debbie Schaffner, Rick Foreman. Can I have approval of the minutes of February 10th, please? Second them. Roll call.
Oh, okay.
All in
All in
favor?
favor.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Visitor, do you want to speak? All right, goals for 2025 is keep spending within the appropriations. Do we have any old business? New business, review of the monthly financials, please.
Okay, so we closed the books for February with an overall balance of $1,918,499.49. That's pretty much it for that. Outstanding checks were 70,000. Outstanding receipts were $2,800. There's no outstanding adjustments. I think I saw on the bank statement, I think it was one of those rare instances I've never seen before where our total, according to the bank statement, our total deposits and expenditures were within $100. I mean, it was like,
That's
it was
good.
either, I've never seen that before, where they were about the same. See the difference, $100. I've never seen that before. Oh, and then that's it, the reconciliation. If you have any questions.
I do not, everything looks okay.
Yeah.
How about you?
Next is the check register last month.
Yeah.
$364,087 was spent last month. 26,466 on page 3. That's for our final share of the OP, the Gordon Street project.
Good.
It was closed this month, or last month, I should say. Payment 29,004. That was for the new cruisers. That is going to be a yearly payment. We got 4 more payments on those. So we leased it for 5 years. And the other one then on page 4, Merchant Bank, that's $30,000 coming from there. That's the interest on the bonds. That's due every 6 months. Now, next payment will be a lot bigger because it's bonds and principal payments. That's pretty much it. On the check register, if you haven't seen anything else,
Looks legit.
It's good. That you would.
yeah. The metrics. Star Ohio received $2,000 in interest last month. As you can see, we're starting to go down. I guess as the Feds cut the interest rates. they have to do that stuff.
Hang on to your hats right now.
Rita last month was 87,000, not 590. And we should be around February, since we have a full budget. 16%. That's, yeah, that's 16. So that's 16, 17%, stuff like that. Looks like all the major funds got the water. Water is just a little bit that. And on the revenue side, still too early to tell, but everything's coming in. It should be coming in. Then there's the appropriation status for the general fund, street fund, water fund, sewer fund, pool fund, storm, and all funds.
Where should we be? What percentage?
Whatever 212 is, that's 16%.
Got it. All right, I don't have any questions. How are you, Rick?
No.
Looking good?
Yeah.
I have approval of the financial reports.
I make a motion to approve financial reports.
I second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is there anything else that we have for the financial?
Well, we just talked about it before. This probably should go through committee. We have a resolution. It's in the council agenda. We should probably bring it up here.
It's 08.
Yeah, number 8. Authorizing V3 to apply for, accept, and enter a water supply revolving loan account on behalf of the village.
Explain to me this.
For the wells,
For the wells.
I'm taking the loan.
So we can apply for the loan, doesn't necessarily mean that
Yeah.
we have to use it or get.
We are getting it. If you apply for it, you're getting it.
No, it's like anything else. You apply for it, you don't apply for it, you get it.
I think you said we applied, we were accepted at 1%.
Yes, the 1%,
1% interest or whatever amount,
for whatever amount it is.
up to a certain amount. But we can offset that from grants and stuff, right? Like if we get.
Yeah, but
we
I-
Find it. It's not looking like.
Government's gonna, yeah,
Okay,
I just, anything grant or if we're gonna fix some of
and
this
that's
stuff.
like
we're
a
just gonna
20-year
fix it.
term that.
30 years,
It'll be 30 years.
30 years.
And we were allowed to prepay them.
yes.
But we would still owe the interest. On the ones that had interest, we have to pay the interest. to the prepay.
Okay, I do remember talking to someone about that.
Yeah, there was a big meeting last Wednesday in here, with B3 and.
Well, we need to just talk about it.
We have
got
4
some-
wells, right?
We have 3 wells.
Three. Two are,
One that works by itself, 2 that have to be used in conjunction with each other, or they don't produce enough water.
Right.
And we switch from month to month from one to the other. Before Scott got here, we were down to just
One
one
well.
authority,
yeah, the really old one too.
the oldest.
Yeah.
We were told over the summer that the current situation might last us 5 years.
So we're getting a new well.
So we're
Yeah,
trying to get ahead of it.
And this new well will work by itself. It doesn't have to be,
just one.
and will it work by itself or does it
Yes.
have to have a
Yeah, we
partner?
go into the rotation, right?
It'll go in the rotation, but it makes the rotation, plus it takes like where we were at last year with one well, or the year before last, in 23. If something bad would have happened, we'd have been in trouble. So last year, we took those 2 older wells, well, they're not older than the one we were using, but the 2 other wells, we kind of redug it, we cleaned them out, and we made them operational, which was a good thing.
They were actually blamed for the bad water.
Right.
It was theorized they had an iron bacteria
Oh, I remember
Right.
that.
problem, and
It was.
instead of actually trying to address it and fix it and use them, we abandoned them.
Okay,
And
so
now we've reinstated them.
we fixed them and
They
we are.
seem to be working fine.
And
We don't think they
this
were ever a
well
problem.
is more important than replacing the lines.
Oh, no,
we're doing both at the
we
same
haven't got to that yet. We're gonna replace lines.
Absolutely not.
No,
Absolutely. not.
that's just one.
So will we have to take a loan out for that also?
Oh, 100%.
That one looks like it's 0%.
Yeah. Here's what I'm gonna tell you about, so we had a water project. Is it right to talk about this now?
Yeah, I was brought it up because it has to go through a committee.
And we have time to talk about
And
this.
it's service related.
We did.
So we were gonna do a water project over on Elmwood, and it was gonna loop around. It's gonna be a big project. bigger than Gordon, probably as big as Washington. We missed it by 2 points. We didn't get it. OPWC said no. And they give it to another smaller town that had worse. So as of 3 weeks ago, we have no water. We have no water projects going on for this year. So we got V3 to find some 0% loans. And we came up with a map of doing that water project and doing some of these 89 to 92-year-old lines, like different small projects. And it is, I would think it would be our plan, we have to talk about this,
Yeah.
all of us, obviously, to take out another loan to do some water projects.
Seeing if we can get it doesn't obligate us to take it.
However,
And some of them are eligible for principal forgiveness.
And there is a lot of principal forgiveness on some of these things.
a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, but
Why in the world did we lower the water rates?
Because we didn't.
We didn't lower the water rates.
Water rates went up. The debt
So the
service.
debt
The debt
service
service
was
went
paid down, so then we can't take it in the name of debt service if the debt service is the debtor. We raised our water.
but I tell you
At the
this,
same time that the debt service was down.
we did.
So everybody got a little bit lower water
That don't
bill,
make sense.
but we increased the water rates.
So it's a wash.
Right. it's a wash.
Alright.
But I tell you, the minuscule that we could have raised the water rates would have dented what we got going on in the village.
You're looking at a couple of years down the road when this, if I remember from meetings, where before we have to start paying. for
Yeah,
it.
we don't even have to pay the
It's a
first
lot of
payment.
money, but
till
it's
20.
well within the amount of money that the tap fees on the upcoming projects. would
And we
serve.
could
then I
pay,
would
Many,
have to
many, many years to come.
And then I would reevaluate the debt charges again and see if they
Right.
need to go up.
and the big
No one's
thing,
wanting to outrun the tap fee.
right. What we were trying to figure out is if we had these tap fees to cover some of these loans, we have money just from the tap fees to cover the loan. But we don't have to make the first payment on some of these loans till 27 of 2030. And
Assuming there's no principal forgiveness.
right, but there could be principal forgiveness. If we do these projects, we may only have to pay for half of it.
And when are these tap fees going to start?
Well,
They started
so
this
just
year.
this year.
This year. for sure.
So to be exact, I talked to Jack last week. What their plan is to try to pay at least 60% of the tap fees this year, which is like $1.5 million. So part of it this year and then part of it next year in full. So we would have that money collected before we even have to
Make the
start paying
first
these
payment.
payments. That doesn't include what we've got going east. And I really feel like when we negotiate with some of these other developers that we need to say, hey, look, this is what they're doing. They're kind of paying them up front. We need everybody to
Well,
get
they're
on.
gonna increase it in January first. They either
Right.
pay this year or they pay next year.
Right.
Okay, so
We didn't map that in already, but I thought.
Well, no, they're,
The new,
We already mapped in next year's numbers.
yeah, no, they're paying
the tap rate,
They're on the new rate now,
Yes.
but there'll be another rate increase.
I don't think that's specified,
1.6.
I don't think that ordinance specified on any other increase.
Right, but.
We can do that, yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, 100% we can.
Okay.
No, 100% we can. Because even with the increase that we.
I'm not saying it'll pass, but I'm just
Well,
saying,
but
the
even,
last one did.
even with the increase that we did this year, we're still, other than Bremen, we're the cheapest in Fairfield
Right.
County by
Yeah.
We're trying
thousands.
to stair step it up
Yes.
all at once.
Right.
But
And we decided not to lock ourselves.
it was so cheap that D.R. Horton said,
We'll wait
we'll pay-
and pay the higher
we'll
fee.
pay the higher fee because
We
it's so
didn't raise
cheap.
it enough apparently.
Yeah, obviously we did.
So
Okay.
also, sorry, also the debt service for the wastewater treatment plant, how many years do we have left on that? Only about
That'll
two.
be paid off in July of 2028.
So in like, what, 3 years?
Right,
So if we're not gonna incur payments for another couple of years,
3 to 5 years.
so then that.
The
Yes.
one's almost paid off by the time the other one comes around. But we've also already forecast the source of the revenue to pay
Right.
it anyway.
well,
So that gives us
okay,
more
but we don't
breathing room.
have the money yet. I mean,
Fully
we're
understand.
spending money that we don't have yet. We're can
Can I
that
ask
happen?
you something? So when Sharon Brown's office came down here a few years ago, I remember her talking about loans, and I
Yeah.
remember you literally almost breaking out in a sweat and saying that we were loaned or we were borrowing basically up to our necks.
We are.
I mean, are
We
you
are.
still,
Yeah, we're still borrowed up in there.
and you're,
We're making the payments though.
okay,
We're not only are we making the payments, but at that point, and I wasn't here for any of that, that we also,
Had to address additional revenue.
yeah, we didn't have $1.5 million in tap fees coming in just in one development, let alone four other developments out there.
And you brought this up, what's happening with that out there?
As far as,
I mean, did we get, are we,
well, we're,
In
Jim,
it,
Jim,
or
Jim,
we-
yeah, Jim will be filing paperwork just for his property. Now, he wants to sign a pre-annexation agreement because he bought
monies?
he bought Loney's and he bought the corn
Okay.
up there from, well, he hasn't, it's not done yet.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but it sounds, according to Landis, because I spoke to him, and it sounds like that's gonna happen, like they're gonna buy those two next, Loney's and that corn. So there's all that,
So we're filing for two of those.
yes.
And it doesn't count. We're on open the live meeting right now, so this might be one discussed in executive session.
Gotcha. Yes.
Sorry.
Well, which nothing, we don't have anything, we got him for the, what is that farm called next to the airport?
Kansas.
Campus, that's the one that we have an agreement with him on. But then there's two other ones that he's buying that we're trying to work that out.
So that's skipping over the active, which is already.
We already annexed that, yeah.
He's already on.
okay, I have one more question. So has anybody contacted Marino's office or Houston's office, or you have?
Well, here's what I'm gonna tell you. Every politician that I've talked to says the same thing until they figure out what's going on with the grants. I mean, if we got turned down by 2 points and nobody, there's nothing. I wanna get the grants. Trust me.
That federal money's been frozen.
Right, and it's frozen, and what I got was it's gonna be frozen for maybe 2 years to figure it out.
Likely state policy is gonna change dramatically the next 2 years. Well,
Right,
one way or the other. I
Right.
don't know which way, but, I mean, you're either gonna get shared burn or you're gonna get the rest on the storm, and I'll say either one of them.
Okay, sure.
Becky is good. Sure.
Full share.
Oh,
I saw definitively that it was.
Oh, well, maybe.
okay. I'm sorry.
Doesn't matter.
Let's get back to this 08
On
thing.
track.
What do you think we should do? Send it to council?
Yeah, Scott will be here to explain it further, right?
Yes.
He's gonna be here during council.
Yeah, so get the process for applying for the loan started. If we get approved for the loan, doesn't necessarily mean you have to take it.
No, it doesn't, no,
So it gives us
Yeah.
options. is what it
yes,
does.
Okay.
but we have to apply for them far enough in
Right,
advance
Right.
to know if we can get them.
In fact, the one for the water line projects, the deadline's March 21st.
Yes, so I told them to apply for them, it still has to be approved by you guys, but we at least have to apply,
Because
because,
if we don't apply for it by March 21st, all right.
yeah, for
And is
another
that
year,
this
year
one?
and a half.
No, it's the other.
No, that's to do water lines. Because right now, there are no water projects on schedule to be done this year.
Okay. But he's talking about something by March 21st.
Yeah.
So in a few weeks, what are we talking about? Where is it at?
For loans, we need to see if we can get a loan to do some water projects.
But that application isn't on here, let's just saying.
I think it will be tonight, that's what Jeff.
Oh, all right.
So the one that we know
Okay.
about for the wells will come, I'll sponsor it, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, the well one was already in the works,
Yeah.
the water line one
We
has
just
come
talked
about
about
so
that. yeah.
fast to meet that March 21st deadline, that it is the one.
Got it. Okay,
So
so,
you're sponsoring and sponsoring send to council.
Yeah.
and I second it. All in favor? Aye. Okay, there's no further information for the finance committee. The next scheduled time is April 14th at 6 PM. Adjourn.
Good call.
Where's my guy?
You got 10 minutes till we,
Give me, no.
No, she can go.
She can go back.
Can we go?
Give me a minute or so to change folders.
okay.
You guys want to rush into the next meeting, but let me change folders.
Yeah, I'm all for getting.
Keep up, Brian.
Getting the water. Yeah. So I can get that going.
Because
been waiting for money from heaven. And I said, That happened. Did not come down. We got, if we don't make it happen.
All right, well, let's get these things going.
Oh, we have.
Everybody wants to go about this truck,
No, no.
the house. Costs.
If it has
Costs? If it has what?
If the plates are legal.
I don't think it is.
I'm just saying, say word before, we've checked it many times.
Okay,
Okay, we got,
I'm ready.
You ready?
Yes. I'll call rules to order. 6:20 p.m. Can I have a roll call?
Shocker,
President?
Foreman,
Present.
Cruz absent. She not gonna be here either?
He's not, he's sick as well.
Oh, she.
Oh, yeah, she's definitely sick. She went home sick from school today.
Also in attendance, we have fiscal officer Brian Fiddler, VA Matt Nyheiser, police chief Brett Rogers, Mayor Rick Ellis, and council members Darla Lee and Lee Cosgrove. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of February 10th?
Or makes a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Schaffner, second. All in favor, aye. I don't think we have a lot to talk about here. 2024 goals, our village alleys still
I
able.
will say that, we are getting that machine, I think he's getting it this week, so as soon as spring gets here, we'll be able to fix them out.
Some of our own
Yeah.
alleys by
Fix our own alleys.
Are there any new employee manual updates?
I'm still compiling.
Okay. New business, did this ever go in front of?
It's going to this upcoming meeting,
Okay.
well, I don't know if it'll be,
So the last,
Thursday?
last planning and zoning meeting was canceled.
because we didn't have enough people. Yeah.
And then, of course, then the next one is the public meeting, so it's probably not gonna be until April.
what's the public meeting Thursday?
For
The rezone of
so,
100 Baltimore Somerset.
The first one was just informational voluntary, so this one is the actual official public.
All right, Rich.
All right, new business, green space requirements for developers and financial contributions.
Yeah, Mr. Cosgrave brought this up at our last council meeting about the idea of allowing developers to not meet the minimum requirement of green space.
In exchange for donating money to the park.
Exactly. So the question was asked, what are minimum requirements? And the code reads that the PD and PRDs, a minimum of 20% of the site shall be set aside as common open space unless conservation development principles as outlined in sections 1290.04 herein are utilized. So that's what I found within the code is 20%.
And having done like a small development, it just creates this no man's land that no one takes care of. I mean, like the one that I did was 5 houses. And now there's this chunk of grass back along the railroad tracks, but literally no one is responsible. And so there's kind of a HOA there, but when it's only 5 houses, I mean, at what point does the HOA become real and really do take care of it? I mean, I'm all for green space, but Baltimore has a lot of parks.
Right.
On some of the smaller ones, it'd be a lot more sensible to put money up on that. would think.
So what is the percentage that you would want that to be?
What, I guess I don't know how you come to a dollar figure from that.
I think what we'd have to do is we'd have to take it per
And
development
it would be
basis too.
optional to the developer, and
Yeah.
maybe choose to do the green space.
Yeah, we just have to, depends on how they lay it out, you know? Like the one up north on Basel, a lot of that green space on the back is just swamp land anyways.
Yeah, do we make it contingent upon their proposal? I mean,
Right. I mean, they're gonna have to cut it twice a year or something, but they have green space inside the neighborhood. But other than that, yeah, I don't.
With those larger developments, if the NCA set up where the development gets a little bit, that would self-fund the maintenance of the green spaces.
well,
Which I
at
think
Liberty
is-
Ridge, they're having HOA, they're maintaining all of their own.
Right, they're gonna
That's
maintain their own.
180 houses. So I do agree, a smaller a smaller developer or a smaller development, I think would be harder to maintain that 20%. Whereas a large development like this, or like a different.
Yeah.
Just as, I guess we could even put like a maximum on, above a certain number of houses. Yes, we have to get green space, but below 50 houses or something, it almost becomes more
I was gonna say 10.
a burden
Right.
and a blessing.
So what do we need to do here? Are we looking to change the
Question.
policy or?
Yeah.
Almost needs to come out planning and zoning, because that change the development schedule.
Yeah,
So are we gonna stick with the planning and zoning?
Yeah, that's what that'd be the best.
Visit the green space requirement on development and see, and
I think it's a
with
good
council
idea.
suggesting that on development under a certain point that we exchange it for a monetary donation to the parks fund.
I would move it to, that's what I would do.
That development's under a certain amount or over a certain amount.
When it's up to the developer too, it's not,
I guess I just want to make sure I get the wording right when I go to P and
Do we
Z.
want to put a size limitation in it or just make it open-ended?
I guess I'll leave it open-ended because you
See what they come back with.
yeah.
do we need a motion to take it to zoning?
No.
No?
Oh, well, it doesn't hurt. I make the motion to send that planning and zoning.
All right, I'll second.
There you go.
All right, anything else? Any old business, any new business? Next meeting will be the second Monday in April, April 14th to 6:30, or a meeting of the following dates.
Second. Oh, am I making?
No,
the
that's
motion?
okay, that works. I made the motion.
Just tell them.
Okay, back to Matt.
Are you gonna close? We don't need to go into executive, but we don't have to be
I do the dad, Wally taught it. He's good.
Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. The power and glory forever. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Can I get a roll call, please?
I just want to make sure. Cosgray. Present. Foreman. Here. Terry is absent. Phillips is absent. Reedy.
Here.
Okay, can I get approval of the minutes from February 24th for the public hearing and council meeting?
You want to make some motion to approve the public, the minutes of the public hearing.
I'll second it.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Foreman.
Yes.
Reedy.
Yes.
Cosgray.
Yes.
Or make some motion to approve the council amendment.
Harold seconds.
Discussion on that? Get a roll call, please.
Foreman.
Yes.
Reedy.
Yes.
Cosgray.
Yes.
Approval on the agenda for this evening.
Do you have any amendments to the agenda? Yes. To add 2025. Oh. 225.09. One makes a motion to add. That's a resolution. It's an ordinance. 25-2-09 to the agenda.
Reading seconds.
Discussion. Roll call on that, please.
That's for
Adding.
adding ordinance. to the
Foreman.
amendment. Yes.
Reedy.
Yes.
Cosgray.
Yes.
Who makes a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Reading seconds.
Discussion on that? Roll call.
Foreman.
Yes.
Reedy.
Yes.
Cosgray.
Yes.
Okay, next, are there any visitors that would like to speak this evening? Nope. Okay, we're moving on to village administration reports. First report would be the mayor's report. The only thing that I had, and I don't know where to bring it up, is because we did not get the OPWC, the village's portion of the matching funds for OPWC, you have it in front of you, is 178,037. And that was the breakdown of 60 for general, 46 for water, and 71 for street fund. What I would like to do is make sure we take that money and put it back in those funds, so it's not locked up. We're not using it for that, so take the money back to those three. The water could really use that money anyways.
Can we do that in one motion, or do we need it in three different motions?
This deals with budget. It has to be legislatively done. It has to have an ordinance.
Okay. So I need to get,
But you're basically what, I want to comment. The general fund, I know what you want to do. You have to reallocate that.
Okay.
The street fund, I mean,
That's what the general fund is.
nope. Street fund, I mean, it's, I guess, what are you trying to do?
Well,
Okay,
one thing is that when I saw the $46,000 that we had set aside for that, I thought if we could put that back in the water's budget, since there's not much in the
I
water.
get that, but
That was a big.
So right now, they're allocated to Elmwood, and Elmwood's not gonna have.
I know. Okay, so,
It
see,
might
this don't give us
happen.
the total picture. That I'm 170, yes, it's a total of $170,000.
Okay,
But the project share of the cost for OPWC was 58, our share was 58,000.
so,
Third total. That was just, because we were contributing 5% of the project. 34,000 out of the water fund, 23,000 out of the street fund.
okay,
The engineering cost was projected to be $120,000.
well, I just don't know. Oh, okay,
So 60,000 in the general fund, 48 in the street fund, 12 in the one, because the water fund couldn't do all that cost. Now, I will let you know before you make any decisions. I'll do what you want me to do, but I suggest on the water fund, the 34,000 is budgeted,
yes,
I would just reduce that. Because he's only got a $3,000 or $4,000 carryover, and that's barely enough to cover the payroll. So if anything, I would take that out of the budget so he doesn't have it.
oh, okay, I see, so it's just, then it would, okay, I see what you're saying, so we don't need to really put the money back in,
No,
there's nothing you're just saying, take it out of his budget, and then Scott was talking about, in case you're wondering,
because his projected carryover was only three, maybe $4,000 if he spent it. Now, he's not probably gonna spend everything. However, that is dangerously low to even cover a payroll.
100%, I agree.
So I suggest leave the water fund, reduce the appropriate, and not reappropriate that money.
I got you.
Now, if you want the engineering costs, if you want to reallocate that to do something else, now I would leave the water fund alone because he might incur some engineering costs
Yes.
this year. If you want to reallocate, the general fund and the street fund engineering cost, that too requires legislation.
So because the Elmwood didn't have, it, they're still just in the general fund.
Yeah, the money's still, it's in the part of the
So
budget.
we can just, if we want to do
Okay.
a different project, we just need to make a motion
I
to
got you.
create an
No,
ordinance.
they have to do an ordinance. Oh, yeah, motion.
A motion to do an ordinance to do a different project.
Yes.
Okay.
If not, we just leave it there.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
wherever
so
they're
then
at.
we didn't really take the money out for that, I see
Now,
what you're
I
saying.
am gonna propose legislation, since we did that, to eliminate the capital projects fund budget of $1 million because we're not getting that funding.
Right.
And by law, the chunk, we have to reduce, or you can either increase, or reduce your budget accordingly, depending on the need. We're not gonna need it, so we'll have to.
That makes total sense, right? All I was looking for two things. First thing is more money for the water department, just because where it was at.
Yes,
So we already have that because it's already there.
yes, but I
Yes.
suggest not even,
Just leave it alone.
just leave it
Leave it
alone.
alone and take it off of his budget.
Yeah.
But then the project that you were interested in
The
doing,
project
is in the
that-
general fund.
The project that I am interested in doing is where Gordon Street, which I don't know if anybody saw it, I sent it to most everybody. The project that we did at Gordon Street, with the sidewalk, we've gotten several compliments on that. And actually, there was a perfect photo of a young man walking on that sidewalk that everybody said we never used. The other project that I was hoping to do is where the paving stops at Gordon Street. I was hoping to pave that road around and that parking lot there. To just, then it's Gordon Street and Johnson Park is all done. So that's what I was hoping, and I got a price of $54,000 to do that. And when we figured out we weren't gonna do this, that was a paving project that I kind of wanted to do to just finish that part of the park and finish Gordon Street the way that is. So what do I need to do to try to do that.
The council person needs to make a motion.
To create
We should talk about what we do.
basically, we have to reallocate that money. Basically, we have to reallocate that money. Right now, it's currently sitting in the council, council part of the budget to pay the engineering costs. We just have to reallocate that 60,000 down to capital outlay. I don't know what's going on. I know we've got a preliminary thing with, windows, right? Have we got anything about the windows yet?
Windows. That one is already.
Yeah, we already budgeted that, you know. I don't think we done anything for the doors.
Yeah, we're talking about using the fourth year.
Oh, the fourth year, okay, well, that's the case.
But we're also waiting on one part.
And I'll have those for next week.
Right.
Okay.
That doesn't, so change, so we're here for promotion to allocate $54,000 to pave the park at Johnson, pave the parking lot at Johnson Park at the end of Fort Street.
Yes, and do Gordon Street, yes.
Or what hasn't been done.
Yeah, what hasn't been done.
So I formally make a motion to allocate $54,000 to pave the Johnson Park parking lot in the Fort Street.
So with that said, what do we do then now?
I think we have some discussion.
Hold on. The board.
Yes.
Wait a second.
Yes, now discussion, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and all we're doing here is giving the act, requesting that the draft ordinance passing.
Right. So we can discuss it, yes.
Yeah.
It's basically reallocating a portion of the budget from here down. It doesn't increase the budget, or it's just, we're not getting funded for the OPWC project. The general fund is gonna kick in 60,000. We're not getting it, so now we're just taking that chunk and moving it to do something else.
Our project. Yes. So any discussion?
Is this creating a,
Yes. Why?
explain,
Well, because the people that use that for a through fare now, in the summertime, in the park, when the sports building especially, there two-way traffic through there that's not meant for the park.
I thought we were gonna keep the K rail there, so close it at our discretion.
That's what Tim and I were thinking was
Yeah.
not happening.
what are we doing?
I wasn't against doing this, but I am for opening that for our purposes and closing it with K rails. Mostly with that.
Right, and
Like if there's a festival and we want to use that to access parking, move the K rails. But on a daily basis, leave enough room for a car to make a turnaround, get a door to get back out. But block off the entrance to the park so it doesn't become a thoroughfare.
Yeah, because it's,
Otherwise, that parking lot becomes basically part of the traffic pattern
I got what you're saying.
for
Yeah, A-rails.
Summer's Choice
oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
that's why we said something. That's.
or a gate or a K rail or whatever.
Well, didn't we talk about this in service about 3 years ago? Because I still got paperwork on my desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole point was whether Gordon's open to the parking lot is our discretion.
Right,
That is not automatically always open or automatically always closed. We will open and close that access to that parking lot at the end of Grove Street at our discretion for our purposes.
Yes.
and at that point,
Regardless of what the residents want and regardless. of-
well, we learned that what the residents want
Well, I mean,
isn't necessarily.
yeah,
So what I wanted to do by paving that, so the parking, when and then we put the festival on top of it it's huge, just by paving that. Tim and I were over there a couple times, and I know we could, if things were parked in the property, you could probably get 20, 30 more cars back there. The other side of this coin is, you know, we got the grant for the property that was bought across from the pool. And we have to do some of that stuff while we're talking about all that. My thought on that was, because to do the parking lot according to what the grant says, it's like 154,000. We only got 400,000 to do that whole deal anyways.
including body.
Right. But what I was thinking there is, I got a price of less than 10,000 to cut that parking lot in. Then when I talked to the paving guy, the paving project that we're doing on Tremont, they take those grindings and put those grindings in that parking lot. At least we'd have a basis, at least a gravel parking lot this summer for 50 more cars. If we paved back there and we had another 50 parking spots in that land across the street there, at least we'd have to be almost,
You can't have, it's gotta be paid.
I know, but it doesn't have to be paved this year, right?
We got, we have it in the budget this year to pay that.
We have $154,000 in budget to pave it.
It's not gonna cost that much.
Well, I got two quotes and the cheapest one was 154,000.
That's what it's for.
That's what I'm saying. That's
So
why I
how,
was
so
saying.
how are we gonna build a shelter? Cause it's only.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, we don't, there's none of that money there, build a shelter and a parking.
Right.
Do we
That's
have
without
to do a
bathrooms.
shelter?
Yeah, well,
Yes.
we have to do it
And a playground.
For the terms of the
for
grant.
terms of the grant.
Right.
And
We
a
have to
And
put
the
a-
playground?
We have to do
walking
walking
path, a
path.
walking path around the perimeter of the park, paved parking lot, shelter house with running bathrooms, playground,
And that's a discussion
and
for,
like benches, receptacles.
and it's stuff that we have to figure out. All I was trying to do this spring was cut something in, use some of that paving, and at least have, but we don't have to pave it this year, but it does have to be paved. I understand what you're saying, but
I get it, but we gotta start making progress. We can't keep pushing this down the road. We've
But
got,
this is our first year that we haven't even been given the money to, I mean, we have.
no, we have to
Right.
pay for it and then get reimbursed for it. But we had this figured out in 3 phases. We're gonna do phase 1, it's gonna be the parking and the trail this year. And then next year, we're gonna be
The shelter house.
the shelter house, and then the final year, we're gonna finish it up. So we got until September of 2027 to use this.
We got the prices on the shelter house and the,
Our previous.
well, I mean, according to the dimensions that are in that, it isn't, there's no way we're gonna get that done for $400,000. There's just, and buy the property, it's just, it's not practical.
We're on the hook for this grant, and we have to.
Right.
We have to honor.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, all I was trying to do this summer was if we could put a parking lot in, maybe not pave it, and maybe put some of the walking paths in.
I think any steps in
Yeah.
towards the element, right? So if you can have it dug up and
Yeah, and I was gonna use some of the,
partially paved.
right, I was just trying to recycle the paving project that we got going on Tremont, recycle some of that.
Space for the pavement.
Yeah. And we can still use the parking lot this summer too.
Okay.
That's all I was saying.
Okay.
So what do we have to do to put the paving of Johnson Park on?
That was a discussion, it's up for a vote. To get an order.
Oh, we have to have an ordinance to modify. the
Okay.
ordinance.
Which we made a motion and a second. We just had a discussion. Now we need a vote as to whether we have Johnson. And this is over and above and separate from the grant
Right.
and
Yes.
the part we were already obligated to do, but it's also
Right.
using money that we hadn't intended.
Right.
For that part.
Yes, so I guess. we'll go for a vote.
Okay. Let's see. Foreman, yes. Cosgrove.
Yes.
Reading.
Yes.
Shelter.
Thank you. So then we'll have some. discussion.
That's an ordinance.
I'll have to give it to them. Yes.
And all I'm trying to do, you guys, just so you understand on that parking lot with the grant, is to do something
To get going.
to get going and to provide some parking over there this year, not 3 years down the road. So, and reuse some stuff to do it. The only other thing that I wanted to add was, we got donated some lights from the old baseball field. And, I am trying to get a local grant to put lights on the girls softball, because the girls won the state championship. I feel like it's exploded. There's a lot of little girls playing softball now all of a sudden.
Yeah, I thought you said those.
They are gonna help us with that, but I'm not 100%.
Not done yet.
Yeah, I'm working on the
Money's
numbers.
not in the bank yet?
Right, but that would be my goal, is to not for the village to have any outgoing money for that, but to put lights on one of those softball fields. No money out of the village costs. So that's really all I have. Village administrator.
Yeah, just a few things. Of course, you received my VA report, but I just want to highlight a couple of things. At your spot, when you came in tonight, there was the most recent revision of the memorandum of understanding from Greif. They had sent back a new proposal maybe about a week and a half ago. And the last page is said Exhibit A, but there was nothing in Exhibit A. So we took about a week and a half looking for Exhibit A that never existed. So their legal just took that out, and we signed it and sent it back. So I think that's coming up later this evening, right?
Well, it's on for a first reading.
But it's on for a first reading. So there's that. The second thing I wanted to share.
Like they already signed.
They have already signed it, yeah. So the second thing I wanted to share is that after our public meeting, our informational meeting on the Trails Grant, the deputy director over at the County Parks District came in and met with me, super excited about the opportunity of developing. Said that there might, wasn't promising, but he talked about their past vision of it and said that there might be a future opportunity for us to partner with them, not only in the bridge, but maybe also them providing some maintenance. And again, that was not a promise, but just a statement of their agreement and excitement. The other thing that he shared with me was in that first phase that we highlighted in the presentation, is there's two spots on that trail. One where the towpath has been washed out and the bank needs supported. And there's also another section on that trail where there's a small creek that has cut a like a valley down in that would need to be bridged either with a bridge or with a he suggested, he estimated that both those projects together would be a little over 200,000, which we were already kind of on the fence of what we were going to be able to do, and we were really pushing it to get under the wire for the application. I asked him what his recommendation was, and his recommendation was to not apply this year, get a better idea, get somebody in that does trails to get a quote for those things, and then reapply. I spoke to Hicks Partners, which is our grant writers, and they said that they agree. They said it's always better to not apply for a grant and really make sure than to try to push it and then not be able to finish up. So the one thing, and I actually I'm really behind waiting a year. I felt like we were rushing anyway. It will give us a year, that piece of property that we don't own, that we can look at acquiring, or at least getting a lease with. There's some other questions that we might be able to answer that we would apply for a later phase, that we can get just a better view of the whole thing rather than just the phase. And then we can split it phase one, phase two. So we will apply probably at the end of this year, but we would not know until the end of next summer. So just wanted to update you on that. The new well and water model loan, we already talked about. I know we're going to talk more about that tonight. And then also tonight, one of the things we'll discuss is the revised agreement with Safeville. You might remember it did not include things like zoning, plan review, engineering, things like that kind of stuff. And that new agreement does have those services built for that. So
Talk about that.
Yeah.
We should talk about that.
Well, it is a piece of table legislation. I don't know when that
Has it been through planning? Zone?
Well, this is safe though,
This
This
is
would
for-
be,
It was hung up in planning and zoning, it had to go to planning and zoning.
Because we have to schedule the fees.
Yeah.
We have to schedule the fees.
Yeah, the original was tabled, because we had to go to planning and zoning.
I misunderstood that.
And then planning and zoning canceled, so nothing happens. Since the last day.
We have an extra member now too, but we shouldn't have that problem again. Hopefully. Scott, we did talk to Mike from V3 as far as the availability and the timing of the loan for the well, and we're going to be okay on that, he said.
Okay.
Because we don't have enough members to pass that ordinance, tonight. It has to be passed by 5. And 4 here. I can't count it.
Well, it
No.
it can't be passed on an emergency basis.
Yeah,
It's just moving forward in the review.
okay. Which we will make it, can we, if with the next meeting, can we pass it?
If you have fun.
Yeah. We'll certainly do.
Do we need Scott here for any question?
Does anybody else have any questions about the well? While Scott is here.
We figure out where it was.
Yeah, there's a parcel north of the waterfront that the village already owns. That's where we're gonna put it at.
So it kind of coincides with everything.
Well, yeah, we're gonna drill test holes there, so we have to make sure we can get water there, and hopefully within the first test hole, if they hit water, but you can hit rocks and we can bounce around, but we wanna make sure first we can get to the water, and then second, if it produces enough that it won't be a problem, so. Okay, did you guys see the budget for it?
1.6. Yeah. And that is, so when we talked to Mike, that was for the drilling and the planning and everything, correct?
Yeah, that's the well exploration, well model, drilling, the design, construction.
Well, we don't really have a choice. to do the drilling, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Scott.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
let's ask for clarification on the issue with the safe build agreement. So there's 2 parts to that. There's the agreement, like the contract. And then there was also the legislation regarding fees. Are we wanting them to okay the fees?
They don't
before-
need to, planning and zoning doesn't need to, do the fees. They can review them, but that's the council's prerogative to do that, but they need to review the,
The actual agreement.
We have the documentation.
All right, so we'll get that, so that they can go over that. Now, was there anything else?
No, I'm sorry.
If a person would become available that could implement the building department and inspections and zoning with our current arrangement, we would need one people in the van at all. Yeah, because everything's in place.
Yeah, that might be something.
Well, I wanted to, this is something that wasn't the situation when we first started on the safe, but Jim Camp has retired from the Lincoln County Building Department. And he was contemplating going back there like part-time, but he would be willing to do like 8 or 10 hours a week or something like that in Baltimore. But the advantage of hiring somebody like Jim Camp to implement our building system with our current staff is we could guide Matt into doing it, implementing it instead of relying on third-party companies. My experience with these third-party companies is they have a great resume and a great presentation, but the reality of the implementation is you get a bunch of college interns and you really don't have any continuity of personnel. Like, you got a different college intern this year and then 6 months from now, you got a different college intern. And so that the people that actually come out and do the work generally aren't the resume that you hired. Whereas like Jim Camp has a resume of many, many years of running the Lincoln County Building Department, and he retired like 6 months ago. So when we first started talking about it, he wasn't retired. At that time, I said something about, why don't you, maybe work be Baltimore? And he kind of laughed about it or scoffed about it. But since then, I said, do you think that's something that you'd be interested in doing?
Maybe we need to just get.
So I can't answer that question, but I said I would bring it up.
I'd be happy.
Yeah, we should definitely talk to him. That could
Can I
make,
get his number from you?
Absolutely.
that could make some things simpler for
Yeah, and it would meet our need, but we do it with someone with local roots.
I was saying this would replace the safe build.
This would be instead of safe build, it would be using everything we already have in place. But it would be Jim Camp with years of experience in actually operating the building department, working with Matt to make ours work. Because Matt doesn't have any experience with that, he admitted that in the thing here.
Right.
Jim Camp has a career.
Yeah, we will.
So I just wanted to throw that out there. I can definitely get into contact with you, and then you can bring back your position on it or your feeling about it to council.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
Okay.
I'd always rather work with somebody local.
Yeah, I'll make that connection for it.
Brian, you have anything else?
No.
And Mr. Solicitor? Well, we've already talked about the legislation that's on for a first reading, one piece of legislation on for a second reading. Again, nothing can be passed on an emergency basis this evening. And I would ask for a brief executive session after regular business, with everybody sitting at the table to discuss some economic development issues. Brief executive session. That's all.
Okay. All right, to the council committee reports, finance.
Mr. Mayor, we had our meeting tonight, very brief and informative, and our next meeting is April 14th at 6 p.m.
Service.
Service did not meet today. Our next, regular meeting is, I think, the 24th.
Safety. Does not here, then same time. In 2 weeks. Rules.
We did meet tonight. Our next meeting is April 14th at 6:30.
Police department.
Everything's pretty much going along. We're going, been talking to several different vendors on computers for the cars. It's in the budget this year. Talking to the sheriff's department, on see if we can do that, maybe get the same prices as that they do for that, so money. Right. Working on that, and let's see, after Wednesday, the cars go on the street with the constraint code, and they're good. And they should be out and
We do think for the joint fire district.
No, the next meeting is on the 20th, at Station 610 at 6:30.
Village committees and commissions, planning and zoning. There's a public hearing Thursday night at 7 o'clock about the property east of the village. So that'll be that. Tree commission, I think Steve had his surgery yesterday. And so I think he's down, but obviously that grant's locked up again due to the current situation. Federal government, records commission. Anything there? And bicentennial.
My thought is, I'm wondering if we should just take this off the agenda and just basically do the lack of interest in the council.
Well, I don't know if it was lack of interest.
Well, it has been. I mean, it has been since day one. I have people approaching me on the streets, telling me what council is saying about me and about the bicentennial. I've never understood what is happening and why nobody, I just don't get it. I mean, there were 30, what, by the way, I want to thank Matt, because Matt did show up. I don't know what you think, there was like maybe 30, 40 people in there. We found it important enough to get up and come. Jeff Lorraine and his wife found it important enough to get up and come. Jeff Dix found it important enough to come. It was everything that I could do to not, while I was talking up front, to ask all the elected officials from Baltimore to stand up, just so everybody could see that there was absolutely no.
There's going to be several things that you do for this, correct? I mean, the actual dedication of the park. And so,
The kickoff was kind of a big deal. I mean, that's
well,
what.
if you want an apology from me, you have it for sure. As far as me personally, I feel like I tried to get some money together, and I thought we did pretty good with that toward the end. And then getting the paper mill involved, obviously, that was good. I don't.
And I'm not discounting any of that whatsoever. And I'm talking more, I mean, there's nobody came.
And I knew the day before.
I knew
but-
Brandy.
Oh, man.
I didn't know that.
Right. Well, that was unfortunate, and I apologize for that for myself, but There was no way around it for me.
And I'm not sure, I mean, you guys have the calendar. I don't know if there's anything else that we need to report on. If you want to take it off, you can take it off.
Okay. We can do that.
I think we should leave it on. I mean, we should know what's going on. I mean, I myself, I was sick, no. But it will also, you know, keep us up to date
Yeah,
as
council's
this
not
is
gonna
going to
know about
become.
upcoming events, we take it
Yeah,
off. I fully intended to go,
Yeah.
but the police called off and I simply could not.
myself.
Fully intended to.
So I think you should leave it on.
That's up to council. I mean, if you want it still on, that's fine. That was just a
You know, just,
suggestion. My experience.
remind us, hey, this is coming up now, don't forget.
Well, Saturday or. What's the 16th? Is that Saturday or Sunday? Okay, so the 16th is the next event. It's a lectures that Cyrus and Julia are giving from the museum. It's about the Basel settlement. That'll be in the Opera House at 1:00 on Sunday.
I did hear that advertised on the board. I did hear that advertised on the board the other day.
On where?
WLH.
Nice.
radio station.
Really? Oh, that's interesting. That's good. You should bring the phone prior to.
I think we should leave
It
it
should
on.
have been in the town prior. I haven't listened.
We'll go to motions. All right, so for the,
We need a motion. I'll make a motion that, to go into executive session following regular business. For just the people at this table,
Hold on a second.
What's the reason?
for the purpose of economic development.
Who's second one? Okay. Oh, that was your
roll call.
Okay. We're waiting on it. Shopper.
Yes.
Porter. Yes. Raspberry. Yes. Reed.
Yes,
Okay, so let's go to the ordinances. First reading, resolution 25-08, resolution authorizing V3 Companies Ltd. to apply for and accept and enter into a water supply revolving loan account on behalf of the village of Baltimore for the planning of water facilities designating and dedicated a repayment source for the loan and declaration of emergency. We can't do it in declaration of
We
emergency.
need a sponsor.
Yeah, we need a
That
sponsor.
came out of finance, I sponsored.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he did
That's right,
sponsor.
that's right.
But we will have obviously a second reading the next one. And that's not, we're not approving that, we're just moving that as an ordinance so we can see where we're at. So the next one is ordinance 2507, an ordinance amending.
No, we have the new one, 2025.
And your first reading today for the water
It
line.
wasn't on the agenda, we amended the agenda.
We amended the agenda and it's to make the application for the water line. And
Sorry.
That's right.
Yeah.
I circulated that, but does anybody have a copy of that? Here it is.
An ordinance authorizing the village and mayor and fiscal officer to enter into an agreement with the Newark Group Drive Company for the insurance of an industrial waste discharge permit to fix, compensate to the village for fees and service charges and the declaration of emergency, which amendment cannot be.
We need a sponsor.
I don't remember having this.
This is one we added.
Yeah, this is the MOU. Applies to the
Oh, I thought we were adding the one for the application on the water. Okay,
We don't need it. for the ordinance for that.
I'll sponsor that.
all right, tell me if you this is good.
This is for the contract with Drive.
To approve the memorandum of understanding with Greif.
Right.
They've signed it, but we haven't approved it yet.
Right.
All right, got it.
In the sooner the better, because it's revenue.
Yeah.
Right.
They're agreeing to.
Yeah.
Pay a monthly.
Those emergencies at the next meeting, if we got.
Yes, and it's a pretty good amount too. Comparatively speaking.
Now you can go to the second reading.
Now, the second reading, ordinance 2507, ordinance amending chapter 220 legislation council of the Baltimore Codified Ordinances in order to provide for additional designated public places for posting notices in related matters. It's so we can post on our social media page and on our website. We talked about that before. Just a thought of that. Brandy does, yeah. So we'll have a third reading on that, obviously. Is there any other old business that somebody would like to bring up?
We have the third readings tables, is that the name table? Is that correct?
Yes. Any new business anybody would like to bring up? Any visitors like to say anything before we?
Excuse you for executive session.
Yeah. Okay.
We're all out here.
Executive decision.
Goodbye.
See, Steve.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
We're like, oh, the
We're sure this stuff, right?
Well, no, there is a meeting.